and welcome back to Knits, Hooks, and Needle. I know it's been a very long time since you last saw me. A lot of things have been going on since the last time I recorded, and even the last time that I attempted to go live on Twitch, which I won't be doing for a bit. I'll get to that later. But I'm going to continue on with this project here that I'm still working on. Make sure the camera's in the right spot. Good. And so this is the Bucilla Nostalgia Baseball by, what was it, Linda Gillum, who I'm assuming that that's the correct pronunciation for. It is a 10 by 16 cross stitch with 14 count Aida cotton floss, and oh, I can't remember how many colors this is, but I do a mix of royal columns and doing just one row at a time, and a mix of doing half stitches going back. So yes. And I'll put all the information up on the video. And I did want to show you guys that the reason why I'm going to start with this one for this year is because I noticed that I was still going on the green right up here. And I didn't want to take my needle off the thread since, it's already on there. So next time I'm going to do this one here. My daughter had gotten a bunch of cross stitch for Christmas, and she does more embroidery instead of cross stitch, and I saw this one and said, hey, I'll take that one. I like it. It's cute, and it looks like a quick project to work up. So I'm going to work on this next time. And it's never been opened, as you can tell. I'm not even sure. See, it was sold at the Dollar General for $3.50. I don't even know if this was bought at a Dollar General, but it was sold for $1.10. And it is, let me see, it's designs for the needle. But yeah, I'll work on that one next time since I still have some green over here. And where is... I just had my, oh, there it is. Let me reach for my pattern here. Put it way up there. I'm gonna have to still work on getting this whole thing set up all over again because it's gonna be different from last time. Oh, that's gonna be awkward if I set it there. Alrighty, so let's get going on this. Try to make sure it's well on the needle here. Looks like it kind of got threaded a little bit. Here, I'm gonna do this. Turns out I have two needles. Oh, okay then. Anyway, don't know if these are equal, so I'm gonna get these equal. I'm gonna go grab my scissors. I did move everything. Okay, I'm back. I just want to make sure that this is even, because it makes it easier to thread. There we go. One of these days I'm going to have a much better setup to where I don't feel like everything is awkward. I'm not even sure what I used that needle for. What did I use that one for? I bet this one is the one I was using. That one looks more worn. Alrighty. So I hope everybody's had a good Christmas and a good New Year. It didn't really feel too much like Christmas where I'm at because there wasn't a whole lot of snow. And let me see. So this space here, right? Okay. I gotta mark where my stops are too. I might have to find my little... I did move a bunch of stuff, so hopefully I don't get too confused. So, because I want to count that real quick. So it goes Okay, yeah. So we gotta go. Yeah, I do need to get a pen to mark where my parts are. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do something next time. I didn't do it this time. One of the best gifts I got, aside from like a hanging clothes dryer. Sorry if this wobbles. I do have. Here, let me see if I can move it. There. It still wobbles. I got a hanging clothes dryer, but I also got a magnifier for Christmas. Like, that was one of the few things I even asked for. And I should have used that this time, so I can actually see everything without having to, like, have my face accidentally in the video. Hold on. That just kind of went funky, didn't it? Okay, that's the other one. Okay, that's not my fault. Just came up a little bit. But yeah, so I can actually see a little bit better when I'm doing stuff like crafts. I do need to see an eye doctor. But y'all know how expensive that can be when your insurance only covers so much and your prescription tends to be a lot higher than some other people's because you have to get specialty lens for one side, and then see, this is why you need it, and then having certain adjustments for the other side. It's like the frames are the cheapest part for me to pay off. Everything else is very expensive, but I do need to see an eye doctor. I just want to see if I were to use my insurance, if they could the place I want to go to, they do offer options to pay off on your own, which is great because, you know, that used to be a thing. I remember having to do that when I went to Walmart a very long time ago to get my glasses. And I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they actually offer payment plans for eyeglasses over there. So I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna pull this back up. Kind of doing it weirdly. There. Because I'm going to count how many stitches I've done. So I've been using pink. Oh, that's orange. I'm using a pink highlighter to mark stuff off. I only use orange when I can't seem to find my pink. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have this right here. Awesome. There. Because I did not mark off everything last time. So we will have to go up to 1, 2, 3 and like almost a half. I do wish I knew where I put my little water-soluble marker. I did organize everything. Let me see. Okay, I found it. Let's mark that off. So I really like having these water-soluble markers. They'll make it just a tad easier for me to keep up with everything. But yeah, that was one of my favorite gifts, is getting a magnifier, because you know, it helps, especially when you got small little spaces to work with. New Year's was good. I'm not gonna do the thing I did ever again because I was so dang tired. I stayed up with my oldest and my youngest. My middle went to bed early because, you know, it just wasn't her thing, and kind of a good thing that we didn't do that with her anyway. But we stayed up to watch the entire last season of Stranger Things. Come on. You know you can go in there. And, like, you know, from like the first episode of season 5 to the very last episode, and that was about a good 10 hours of watching, because the last episode was 2 hours long, and I don't know why, but I guess I was assuming that it would be 1 hour, but I was wrong. So it was on my part that I miscalculated what time to start watching so that there would be an end, and I was actually shooting to be done by midnight when, you know, the fireworks went off. But no, due to starting a little bit late in the 2-hour season finale, we were up till 3. And I'm not doing that again. I'm just, you know, I'm not that young anymore to to stay up so dang late, because, you know, I need sleep. I have stuff to do every single day. You know, being a mom. And plus it's just bad habit for, you know, when you got to get back into the swing of things when your youngest is the only one still left in school. And you want to make sure that you aren't messing up your, I'm going to do something a little different because I don't have the other hook on me right now. You want to make sure that your youngest is able to get up and be ready for school, because he just has the hardest time getting up. So you have to get up to make sure that he goes off to school. And yes, I know I'm doing this with a needle felt needle. I was working on a project. Oh, I did not go through that. I was working on a project as a Christmas gift, and so I needed, you know what, that did not want to do it for me. Okay, fine. We're going to do it this way then. I was working on the project, and so I got a kit. And while I don't mind the kit, I'm thinking I need to get the one tool my oldest daughter has when she does needle felting, because it would work a lot faster. And the tool I'm talking about is one where did I get in there? Yes, I did. Is where you have like a multiple amount of these, and you know, you can do larger areas. Hold on real quick. Honey, we'll have lunch here soon. I'm gonna get some toast. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna do that and trim it. Where is my, I got my scissors. And then I'm gonna quickly go get my daughter some toast, because that's what she asked for. I will be right back. You know, just hoping we can have a good, decent year, at least. Speaking of New Year's, you know, I know a lot of people have New Year's resolutions, and I don't necessarily do resolutions, per se. I do more, like, I have like a, what is called an Odyssey Plan that I had to do while I was in college, and that was to, you know, basically say what your goals were professionally, personally, and academically. And so the way they did that was, okay, so you basically pick what those goals are for the first year part of the plan. And I think I gotta go this way. So for the first year, and then what you would do is go for first year, 5-year, 10-year, and then you would go back and do, I believe it was like you have to do one that's realistic, you know, one that kind of like sounds logical and possible to do. And then, you know, for the first 5 and 10 years, and then do one that is if money were no object, which is almost, I mean, I get the point of why they did that, but I almost kind of think it's a little silly because, like, you know, it kind of gives us those like ideas for wishes that, you know, if we had that money, but of course, you know, we don't always. And then you would have to rate these different, you know, since you have 3, you have your initial, the realistic, and the, you know, I call it the more fantastical plan. And you would have to rate them. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a possibility. I can't remember the way we rank them. And then what you would do is you would go with the ones that you felt like you actually had a chance of doing again, and use those in your the final part of your plan. And that's how we did that. I mean, there's a lot more instructions than that, but that was basically the idea behind it. So where do we go? So we go up to 1, 2, 2.5. So 1, 2.5. So here, okay. And so that it would, oh, I lost my thread again. It would help you create this like plan of what, you know, things you want to achieve academically, personally, and professionally. And sometimes those could overlap, you know, academically and professionally, or maybe professionally and personally, for example. And I kept mine because I thought it was a good idea, because I am not threading that right, apparently. Because a lot of the time they teach you about the, what is it called? The SMART method. And I actually forget the, what that acronym means. But, and that part used to always confuse me, the way they would explain it. And so doing the Odyssey Plan was a little bit more clear, because it, like, again, it was just the way they would explain how it works. But also at the same time, you could easily apply that to the SMART plan. I know one of the letters means measurable, and that's for the M. I'll have to put that up on the screen just in case anybody's wondering. And so, you know, each year I've been able to mark off certain things that I achieved. There's been at least 1 personal that I've achieved, 1 academic. Professionally, it's been somewhat, I'm almost there. It's just 1 more hurdle to get over. So, let me see that 1, 2, and then, what is it? Okay, skip 2. But yeah, I'm almost there on that. And so I've been able to mark stuff off. Now, granted, I haven't been able to finish some of those little goals within the year I specified, or that I set it in. But, you know, even if it was a year later, I've been able to mark it off. And what I really like about that plan is that I feel more likely that I'm going to go through with something, because sometimes when you're using the SMART method and it said you have to work with that part M, for example, the measurable, sometimes it's not always cut and dry about, oh, okay, so I'm going to achieve this within, you know, X amount of months, and that actually doesn't happen. What I like with the Odyssey Plan is that while you do technically put a measurable on there, it's not concrete, You know, because there might be little steps that you have to add in that maybe you don't know about, you know. And so it's better to, I kind of found the Odyssey Plan a lot better than using the SMART method. That's just my opinion, of course. I'm not saying you can't use both, one or either. But I just preferred it because of the way I was able to understand things and the way I felt like, hey, this is a goal. Yes, I want to achieve it at the first year, 5 year, 10-year mark. But at the same time, see, I don't think I'm going to have to use more of this, am I? No. Okay, good. That, you know, it's still there. Because there might be little steps that you aren't thinking of. You can include the little steps in the Odyssey Plan if you want to, you know, afterwards. You didn't have to for the assignment. But you could add them in as like maybe a, what do you want to call it? Like a separate document if you wanted to do it as a document. And that's actually a good idea. That's not, I need it. I keep grabbing the orange one. I know that's not orange. And so far, you know, that's been able to help me try to achieve my plans, or my goals, I should say, because I find it better than when you're making a New Year's resolution. Yeah, sure, you can go ahead and make one, but sometimes don't be surprised if, you know, your New Year's resolution doesn't quite work out because you didn't actually have something set up for it, if you get what I mean. Like, you can't just say, oh, I don't know. I'll just put this one on there. Oh, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna get back into college, or attend college. You know, if you're a teenager and you're getting out of high school or something, or, you know, just some. We'll take that one for example. But what if there's other things kind of in your way? Say, oh, I don't know, you have another obligation to do before you can do that. And so you're like, okay, fine, I'll just do that. I'll do that obligation first, but then it sets you back. So therefore, it's not that the resolution is unattainable, bit more that it wasn't going with either the SMART method. I'm going to do this in X's, or by like an Odyssey plan. I wish I could totally get you guys through that, like do like a little project, but that's not what this channel's about. But you know, you don't think about some of the stuff that might be preventing you from doing it within a certain time limit, because that's, you know, they're two separate things. For example, I think this might have to be the last little end here. Yeah. I think I'll go through the top instead of doing that loop. And I don't always do this method. But yeah, you know, maybe I can put some like little links in the description about what I mean by Odyssey Plan and the SMART method. I'll try to find like a good website that can explain the SMART method in a way that's, for, you know, understandable, at least to me and hopefully other people. Let's see, where did I see? I got more brown off to the side here. But yeah, that's, I'm not against resolutions, just I think the way that they're presented to people, you know, isn't always beneficial. Looks about the right color. I got a bunch of stuff stuck on this. And so I would say, instead of resolutions, like set up more goals instead of resolutions. I'm not saying, like I said, resolutions are fine. I'm just making sure, because I feel like that's not the right color. I feel like that's this color. Yes, it is. Just doing what is easier to understand and to follow through with. Looks like I might have to use the other thingy. Okay. Hold on, I'm just trying to find the... That one can't be it. I hope to goodness I am not out of this color. I will be upset. I think... No, that can't be it. No, that's not it. I am sorry, I'm like kind of like distracting myself here. Don't worry, I'll clip out some parts so it's easier. Let's see if that's what color. Okay, now that I have my color, I had a little stash of other colors that are very similar to what I'm already using. I know people like to tie them up like this so that you don't lose them. That's fine. Just it's frustrating to have to undo. Anyway, let's get back to the whole New Year's resolution thing. So I don't necessarily use resolutions because, you know, I could be having several goals at once that I want to achieve, and having like a single resolution, which is not a bad thing to have, say you don't really need to go beyond having one. And I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. My cat was having an asthma attack, so I had to stop what I was doing and help him out. Anyway, back to resolutions. You can have one if you want to. I just don't feel like they're beneficial with the way society has basically, you know, set them up. It's kind of like the best way I can describe the inefficiency of them. And so I just prefer the Odyssey method, the Odyssey Plan method, over the SMART method, or even just saying, hey, I'm going to do a New Year's resolution, because when you don't actually have a plan in place, you're more likely to not achieve that goal that you've set up for yourself. And this is a really long piece of string. So that's why I would recommend using either the SMART method or doing an Odyssey Plan. Again, I'll just put that in the link below in case you're interested about either. If you've never heard of one or the other, or both. And you know, you got people that write about the New Year's resolution thing every year. This is just a really, see, this is one I bought. The strands that came with the kit were not this long. A lot of people, you know, journalists or whatever, bloggers will write about New Year's resolutions, and you know, they could have their own say on all that. I just say stating a New Year's resolution isn't always enough until you actually create a plan. Because as I had learned, see, I can't remember where I heard the phrase before, but goals, not wishes. And I think that makes a lot of sense, where you have a goal, not a wish, especially if it's something that you really do want to achieve. I'm not saying wishes are bad. I'm just saying that if you really want something, turn it into a goal, not a wish. There we go. But yeah, I like my Odyssey Plan, and so far it has helped, even if I am behind just a tad on a few of the goals. I'm just trying to what I do with the personal, academic, and professional. And you know, you don't always have to have the academic one on there the entire time. That can just be momentary, you know, for if you're in college or whatever. You can have that momentarily, and then just use personal and professional if you want. But if you do want to keep academic on there. Say you go from getting a bachelor's degree to a master's, then you can keep that on there. And I do have a bit of academic on my end, though it won't be going through a college per se. It's going to be going through a different program. Drink, honey. Okay, had to do a small pause right there. My daughter came out and I didn't want to have too much background noise. You know, for speaking random stuff, I try my best to stay on the topic when I really want to discuss something, and I always get distracted by something. I feel like I lose train of thought when that happens. It's easier when I write stuff down. But yeah, I don't necessarily do resolutions for the same reasons that people say they don't, you know. It's just, I don't, for me it's the method. But I am close to getting on one of my goals. It's just been taking a while because of all the little, and I'm gonna have trouble saying this word. You know what, I'll say it differently. Intricate details. The little small details that, you know, I wish I had known or been aware of before, because I think that would have helped me out ahead of time. But then again, some stuff you just can't necessarily plan for because they are a variable. And that's, you know, that's okay. We work through it. Oh, what I was going to say is that the way I choose which goal to work on, I do technically work on all three at the same time, but some, like, one or two may be less focused on. They're still being focused on, but not as much as another, because that one might be more achievable within a certain time limit. Or steps are a lot easier, or there's less steps, whatever the issue may be with achieving that one first. And then I try to move on to the whatever other one. So that's how I tend to do it. So I'm not trying to do all three at the same time, because, well, that can be difficult. You don't want to overwork yourself trying to achieve all three at the same time. You can at least work on one and then work on another within that same time frame. Oh, and the thing with the Odyssey Plan is it quite literally would work year by year, but then be grouped between like a, you know, like when you have the 5-year, you would include the actual 5 years in that portion of the project or of the plan. And, you know, then when it came to 10-year, you would start with the 5-year portion of that one, not the entire 10, if you get what I mean. So you quite literally would have to set up like essentially smaller steps to get to a different goal, so to speak, but not in the same manner as when you use the SMART method and use individual steps. I'm kind of going on about this, I'm sorry. See, I think this year for one of my professional goals, it's this particular job that I'm technically applying for, but I have to go through a bunch of hoops to get certified and qualified to do it. And, you know, sadly, yes, you do have to pay out of your own pocket for some of that training, because yes, we have programs that can help pay for it for you if you're eligible for such programs. for people that, might have trouble, say you have to take a class for something. You quite literally have to pay for the class in order to achieve that part of the goal. So it's not like those, I don't know, work from home sites where they're like, oh yeah, if you pay us, we'll train you and whatever. Those ones are a bit more sketchy. This one's more on the legitimate side of, yeah, no, you quite literally have to be certified and trained to do that position because of the, I'll just say, the legal requirements that are entailed. So I'm very close on that one. It just took me a while. And in some ways, it actually wouldn't have taken me so long had I known about a couple of aspects of that plan that I didn't know about until the very end, basically. And so I'm hoping to somehow find a way of letting other people who want to go that same route go into that same type of job, to let them know what the little tiny details are that you may not hear initially. Actually, I've got to end it. I'm going to do an end loop. Let's see. Personally, I know there's one that I had that had to do, it's a family thing. It was a personal thing to help out a particular family member with something, and that one's actually going really good. Now we're just waiting for the other end of it. I don't want to say what it is because I just don't want to jinx anybody. So that part is going good. Do I have to use more of this? No. Okay. And then what was it? Professional. Having a little bit of trouble with that one. It is somewhat tied to... Wait, I should say it is tied to the academic part. But also there's another aspect of it that I'm trying to achieve. Again, I don't want to go into what this specific goal is because I just don't want to jinx myself at all. Okay, that is about as tight as I can get it, huh? And one was talking about when you have a goal to not tell anybody what it is, because psychologically, for some people, if they state what their goal is, they are, in a way, almost making themselves think that they've achieved it just by stating it. That's kind of hard for me to explain, but I got the idea when the guy who was doing the TED Talk was describing it. I understood what he meant, so that's why I don't actually tell very many people what my goals are. Only certain few know what they are. But then again, sometimes you can go the other way around and say, you tell someone what your goal is, and they can be like your accountability partner and say, hey, have you done this yet? Wow. I don't know why you didn't finish this one before. This is only going to be 2. Do I have to jump anywhere? I think I might. Because maybe an accountability partner or some of that. Yeah, I'll just call it that. An accountability partner that keeps up with what your goals are and asks you, hey, how are you doing? I lost my thread again. That, I think, is fine, just not all of us can get one of those. So I prefer to keep mine more private anyway. So where am I at? Oh, okay. I was trying to go back over here. But you can do what you want. If you want to tell someone your goal, that's totally fine. If you feel like it won't hurt you to say anything, But I was kind of persuaded to not say anything just because that TED Talk made a lot of sense to me, and it has helped. Okay, I want to look to see. I did somewhat mess up. That's okay, though. You know what? No, that's okay. Yeah, I did sort of mess up. I miscalculated on this part. I went up a little bit too high right here. And I can still work with this, though. I can definitely still work with this. Not looking for perfection, just looking for progress. And I don't need to bring it up to here. See what? Okay, 44 minutes. Alrighty, I'm gonna do just a little bit more of what I was supposed to do. So, let me see. Right above it, we were supposed to do, oh, my pattern. It slipped down. So C, so it's, I'm gonna look here. So it's not a C, it's like a half moon. Okay. I see what color it is. Just sometimes, you know, it helps to be able to see the color. And I guess that's what my video was going to be about today, is mostly goals, because I've kind of taken up a lot of the time talking about that. Yes, I know I have this here. That one's not going to be till later. I just didn't want to keep cutting it. If anybody has wants to share, you don't have to. You can even be vague about it if you want to. But if you want to state like what your goal is for the new year, or something that you are almost, you know, that you're still working on, you're really close to getting because maybe you started last year, go ahead and put that in the comments below. And like I say, you don't have to. You can just say, yeah, I have a goal, and you know, maybe you can say whether or not you used any of the steps for the Odyssey Plan or the SMART method. Okay, so it's just gonna be halfway over. Okay, so it's supposed to go up to here. Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to start from like right here. I won't double cross over it because it's just gonna look muddy if I do that. It's okay though. I can work with it. I'd love to hear anybody's goals, if they're okay with saying what they are. Maybe someone might have like an idea of something to help you out, who knows. Be like, hey, this is what I did, you know. It might help you. Next time I'll have to make sure I pay attention, because I wasn't supposed to go up that high. This was only supposed to be like a 1.5 thing, but I got distracted. I distracted myself. it's okay. Just pretend like part of that structure for the crowd is just made differently. Okay, come on. It does not want to come up through that one hole. Oh, it wants to come up through the middle. There we go. And I'm going to be posting this video on a Wednesday, even though I'm recording on a totally different day. Let me see, do I have any more? Really? I don't have any more? Well, wish I could have used it more. Ew, well, bring that up. Nice little color though, I really do like it. Okay, so I know I only did like green, brown, and like a kind of like a muted little cyan color. But that's okay, you know. I don't do this to be fast. I do this to relax and just to do what I feel like doing. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and remember to stay hydrated and be mindful. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.